This is Chapter 15, Orbital Cataclysm, Part 3, from a story called The Time-Dilated Generations, by Esteban Gallardo. Albert, we have just lifted off, and we're on our way. How are you holding up? Donna's voice came through the comms, steady and controlled, but beneath it was the weight of exhaustion from the past 18 hours of non-stop effort. Albert's voice responded, clear but slightly strained. Still about an hour away from the destination, he reported, but something interesting. Temperatures outside are shifting fast. We're slightly below minus 100 degrees and rising. Teresa, always tracking the numbers, immediately cross-checked their projections. That lines up with our calculations, she confirmed. By the time the planetary alignment reaches its peak, temperatures at the mining facility should bottom out at around minus 150 degrees Celsius. She glanced over her data again before continuing. The good news is, we'll be able to counteract the cold using the reactor from the mining driller. That should provide enough power to maintain habitat temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, warm enough for hydroponics to keep producing oxygen. Albert let out a mock sigh of disappointment, breaking the tension with his usual brand of humor. Ah, that's too bad. Donna raised an eyebrow at his tone. Too bad? Yeah, Albert continued with an exaggerated sigh. I had the perfect excuse to get really close to the boss for warmth. But of course, you had to come in and break the spell, Teresa. Damn you. A snort of amusement came through the comms. Donna, flattered despite herself, smirked as she responded with her own playful challenge. Smartass. Then after a pause, she leaned into the teasing. You know what? I'm always up for a good fight. I'll schedule one right after we settle down. It's been a while since I kicked your sorry ass, and honestly, I miss those good times. Albert laughed, and even through the exhaustion, the mood lifted, just slightly. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, they weren't just colonies fighting for survival. They were people again. The landing spacecraft touched down first, precisely 20 minutes after departing the base. The carrier aircraft, slower and heavier with its precious hydroponics module, was still an hour away. Donna and Teresa had no time to waste. Survival depended on setting up life support before the temperatures plummeted to deadly levels. Their first task was to redirect power from the driller reactor to the mining habitat's life support systems. From there, they could channel energy to the hydroponics module once it arrived, ensuring the production of oxygen and food. The mining habitat itself was a mere 30 square meters, designed to accommodate only 2 occupants, just enough space for 2 beds and a control terminal. It was not intended for long-term living. Donna smirked as she inspected the cramped quarters. Well, looks like someone's about to get really lucky with the sleeping arrangements. Teresa, too focused on rerouting power, simply rolled her eyes. Inside the habitat, at Teresa's far-sighted insistence, a modest cache of food had been prepared, though it was scarcely enough to sustain 2 people for a couple of days. Given the short journey to the main base, they had not deemed it necessary to provision more. They were already equipped with supplies to last several months, ample time for the hydroponics module to begin producing the sustenance they would require. Yet that small reserve served as a poignant reminder of the need to be prepared for any contingency. Their final choice was a mining facility that was fully operational. The alternative facility, situated in a hotter region, had yielded no xelthane, and its reactor had been deactivated. They dared not risk the time-consuming process of reactivating the nuclear reactor, with the clock ticking down so rapidly. Redirecting the driller reactor's power to the habitat was accomplished in mere minutes. The true challenge lay in deploying the 2 essential cables. The first cable would supply power to the hydroponics module upon its arrival, while the second would deliver filtered oxygen from the hydroponics module to the mining habitat. Thanks to centuries of standardized habitat design, every component was modular and engineered for swift adaptability. Once the hydroponics module landed, all they had to do was connect the 2 cables, and the system would be fully operational. While the carrier aircraft was en route to meet them, they focused on moving the most delicate components from the landing spacecraft, including live plants, seeds, and biological growth mediums. All of these needed to be safely inside the hydroponics module before the cold reached its peak. The less critical equipment, such as machinery, support structures, and secondary systems, could remain in the spacecraft until the crisis passed. When they first landed, the temperature was a harsh but manageable negative 50 degrees Celsius. By the time the carrier aircraft arrived, it had already dropped to minus 100. They had barely an hour left before the mining facility reached its coldest point, a lethal minus 150 degrees. Albert maneuvered the carrier aircraft with surgical precision, dropping the precious hydroponics module exactly where it needed to be. Donna had seen his piloting skills grow over the years, but even now he still surprised her. His control over any vehicle he touched had reached a level she once thought impossible. When she had first doubted bringing someone so young and social onto the mission, she had feared distraction, recklessness, even irresponsibility. Now, those doubts had vanished entirely. What remained was a deep appreciation, one she could no longer deny. Albert exited the aircraft immediately, pushing the medical life support unit carrying the unconscious Caleb. The wheeled system had been designed specifically for hostile outdoor travel, and today it was saving their friend's life. Meanwhile, Donna and Teresa worked quickly, connecting both the power and air supply cables between the habitat module and the hydroponics system. By the time they had triple-checked everything, Albert had already rejoined them. The three of them moved like a well-oiled machine, securing every last critical component into the now fully operational habitat. In just 20 minutes, they had successfully transferred all plants and seeds inside the stable 20 degrees Celsius environment, ensuring the future of their oxygen and food supply. Teresa's modules had proven accurate. The outside temperature was dangerously close to minus 150 degrees. Had they been minutes slower, it would have meant certain death for all of them. After securing the hydroponics, Donna's first priority was Caleb. She refused to release him from the life support unit until she was absolutely certain the danger had passed. Even though they were inside the mining facility's cabin, none of them removed their spacesuits. They all needed to be ready for anything. Teresa's voice, normally calm and analytical, came through the comms with an unmistakable tremble. 10 minutes until maximum orbital distortion. Temperature outside, minus 145 degrees Celsius. She was terrified. She had been so confident in her calculations, but now that they were living it, she felt the weight of the unknown crushing down on her. If she had miscalculated, if her projections were even slightly off, it wouldn't just be their lives lost. It would be the end of the entire Rigel colony. Donna stepped forward, gently taking Teresa's hands in hers. "Teresa, we're in this together," she said, her voice firm yet warm. "Don't put all that on your shoulders. No matter what happens, I couldn't be more proud of you." Albert, usually the jokester of the group, softened his voice. "Yeah, Teresa, let us carry that with you." His tone was so uncharacteristically serious that even Donna raised an eyebrow. "I know you've done your best," he continued, "and I'm 100% sure we're going to survive." Donna smirked, sensing an opportunity to tease him back. "I've never seen you so serious," she quipped. "Maybe I should check on your health later." Albert immediately blushed, but for once he didn't fire back. The tension in the room eased just slightly. The countdown reached 0. The planetary alignment reached its peak. And then the cold slowed. The plunge in temperature that had been so relentless, so unstoppable, began to decelerate, until finally it stopped at minus 149 degrees Celsius. 1 tense hour later, the temperature began to rise, minus 148 degrees. They had survived the cataclysm. That was Chapter 15, Orbital Cataclysm, Part 3, from a story called The Time-Dilated Generations, by Esteban Gallardo. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again next time.